Welcome back, and tonight I'm going to make something different for dinner. I went to the store and I was having trouble finding stuff, and what I did find that looked really good is I found some green cabbage that looked really good. I found a red pepper and a green pepper and some beer brats and onions. So I am going to go ahead and make a pasta dish with all that. And let's get started by washing up the vegetables first. Okay, so I'm going to start with some green cabbage first, and I'm going to take, what I like to do is take off the outside layer. Okay, and then I rinse it off. All right, so I'm going to cut this cabbage in half. I actually don't think I'm going to use the entire cabbage anyway. So I have a very sharp knife. Be very careful when cutting the cabbage because they're quite hard. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse this part off. Okay, so now I'm gonna, if you can see, there's this hard part. We're gonna cut that part out. And I'm only gonna use half of this cabbage, so I'm just gonna take the rest of the cabbage and put it in a Ziploc and make something else out of it. Okay, so I got a bowl handy, and I'm gonna try to cut this up as small as I can. I'm gonna start this direction. Hope everybody's having a good day. That part, and then I'm going to just come this way and get it tiny. Okay. And cabbage does shrink, so it might look like a lot, but once I cook it up, it's going to shrink. So that's good. Okay. So I'm going to continue to cut this up, and then I'll put it in here and I'll show you how much I have. Okay, so this was half a green cabbage, so it was quite a bit. So I'm glad I didn't want to use the whole thing. Okay, so now let's go for the onion is next. Red onion. Okay, let's get the skin off this red onion. Peel it here. This smells really good. Nice and strong. It's nice to go ahead and get everything pre-cut up, and then you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to use this entire large red onion. And I'm going to end up just dicing it up. I didn't want that piece to fall out, because when it's like this, then you can just turn it this way. Make nice little squares of onion. So I'm cutting it up tiny. Okay, so I'll continue on the other side. Cut that one out. Now, as far as the garlic, today I'm just going to use some pre-minced up garlic. So make sure if you're going to do this dish that you have at least maybe a clove of garlic or a couple cloves of garlic, which would equal, I'm probably going to do about 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic. So if you have one of these, just make sure you have enough for that. And I rinsed off my red pepper and my green pepper, and then I'm just going to go like this and get this part out. And then I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to make sure I take out all this. And then I'm going to rinse that off just so that I make sure I have all the seeds out of there. Let's get this one ready to be rinsed off as well. And just be, again, very careful with your knife using a sharp knife is actually safer than using a dull knife, because sometimes when you have a dull knife, you push too hard and then you slip and you could hurt yourself. And using a cutting board is a very good idea. You don't want to be trying to do this up in the air. You could hurt yourself. Okay, just getting this excess stuff out. I'm gonna go to the sink and rinse these peppers off, and then we'll start cutting them up. Okay, so for the peppers, I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the onions. I'm gonna cut them small, because this way everybody that eats this meal is gonna have all these veggies in each bite, and it's gonna go through the whole meal very nicely. And I'm just going to stick this in the same bowl as the onions, and I'm going to continue to cut the green one and the red one up, and I'll show you the quantity in just a minute. Okay, so let's look at what we have again. So we have the cabbage, and this was only half of a green cabbage. And then we had one large red onion. We've had a red pepper, green pepper cut small. And then I have the minced garlic. Okay. So we're going to take that over to the range top and just have it handy. All right, so I have some beer brats. So we're going to start cooking these up. I think I feel like I don't need quite this many. So I think I'm going to do 7. I'll see what it looks like when I put it in the pan. And so we're going to go ahead and start cooking this. In the meantime, I also have measured out some water for pasta. I'm going to use ziti pasta. I'll show you. So I have 1 bag of ziti pasta, but you definitely could be using penny pasta or any pasta you'd like. This is what I found in my pantry. I was looking for penny pasta. It looks similar. It'll work. So let's go over to the stove and start cooking. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is start boiling the water. And I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in here and a little bit of salt. And then we are going to start heating up the cast iron skillet. I have a very large cast iron skillet. So I'll start doing that and then I'll check back in. All right, so the reason I put the oil in the boiling water, or the water that is going to be boiling, is so a couple different reasons. I like to put it in there so that the pasta doesn't stick, but while it's cooking also, this helps prevent it from boiling over and getting all foamy and making a big old mess. All right, so the pan's getting hot. I'm going to start putting the sausage in here. And I'll probably know how many I want once I lay it in here. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7. Okay, so out of the 10, I'm going to do 7 of them. And then I will go ahead and put my other sausages away and use them for something else. Okay, so I'm going to add some water to this. Oh, better turn on the exhaust fan. It's starting to steam up a little. Okay, I'll turn it off. I'll turn it back on when I turn it over. So I'm going to just let that go for a little bit. I'm going to cover it for just a little while, and we will check back in just a few. Okay, so let's take off this lid, and it's cooking nicely, and we're going to turn it though. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my lid. I'm holding on to it. Okay, and I'm going to just turn that over. It's getting brown already. And I probably am going to reduce the heat slightly, just so it doesn't cook too fast. We want it cooked all the way through, but we don't want it cooked. So I'm going to reduce the heat a tad. Okay, as you can see, the water's starting to boil off a little. So I'm going to just cover it back up, and it's not browning yet because I did reduce the heat. We'll check on it in just a few. I'm going to cover it back up though. Okay, so let's turn these around a little. Okay, not browning quite yet, which is good. Okay, so we got started with the water, and now it's time to add Well, what I have is pale ale. If you have beer, that would be better, but this is what I have in the fridge. So, we are going to add some of this to our sausage. Okay. And then we're going to cover it and let it cook longer. Okay, so let's check. All right. So it's boiling nicely. It smells really good. Just so everybody knows, I put the entire bottle of beer in here, and the alcohol does burn off as it cooks. So not to worry, you can serve it to anybody. Okay, I just uncovered my sausage here, and now you can see that all the ale has boiled off, and now it's time for me to turn the sausages, because we want to put a really nice brown on these sausages. I definitely headed in the right direction. Oops. Okay. And then I am occasionally stirring my pasta. Okay, so we'll keep a close eye. I did reduce the heat, so I'm on a medium heat right now. And I'm going to be standing here and keeping a very close eye so nothing burns. We'll check back in a few. Okay, so I added just a pat of water because I just don't want it to stick. And this is smelling delicious. And I'm moving it also so it doesn't stick. All right, we'll check back in a few. Okay, so for this step, this is done. I'm going to take it off of the heat. And I'm going to put these sausages in a bowl. Oops. They're slippery. All right, so we're going to take this sausage and we're going to cut it up. About like that. It is hot. I could use a fork, but I feel like it's faster if I just hold on to it. I'm going to keep on cutting this up and I'll be right back. So now I'm just going to put it back in the bowl because we're going to cook it some more, because when I make sausage I like to really have a nice brown on it. But this is a good way to get it all firmed up. So it'll be nice little chunks of meat when you bite into it. And we can also start adding the vegetables soon as well. So I will meet you at the range top. Okay, our pasta is ready, and I have this nice colander that hangs over the top of the sink, which is great. And I want to mention the best way to find out if your pasta is ready or not is to actually take a piece out, run it over cold water, and then actually try a piece. So it is definitely ready. Okay, so we're going to heat the pan up again. I'm just going to add a small amount of olive oil. I didn't clean out the pan because I want all those flavors. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Get this, heat it back up. And I need to get out a nice long spoon so I can stir everything up. So as soon as it gets hot, I'm going to start bringing over all my other ingredients and just kind of line them up and get them ready. Okay, so I'm going to add the sausage back in here. And I'll start stirring it around. What I want to do is I want to brown each side. We're going to cook it over a medium heat. We don't want to go too fast. And we will check back in just a few minutes. Okay, so it's browning up nicely. Let's add some garlic. I'm going to do a couple of heaping tablespoons of the minced garlic. I'm going to stir this around. This is smelling delicious. Okay, turn the heat up just a tad. Actually, had turned it down to low because with cast iron skillet, it stays hot for a long time. I'm kind of like toasting, as you can see this garlic. Okay, so that is looking good. Now it is time to add our onions and peppers. This is a very colorful dinner. It's very appetizing. And we don't really need to add a lot of spices to this because we have our onions and our garlic and all the spices that were in the sausage already. I think I might just do a little bit of black pepper. I think I'll do that once we get that cabbage in here. I'm just going to get out the black pepper so I don't forget. Have it handy. This is smelling delicious. So I'll just kind of let that marinate and check on it in just a few. I'm going to reduce the heat a tad. I think I'm going to cover it for just a few. Okay, so now I'm uncovering it so that it could just kind of cook a little bit longer and start to brown up a bit on the vegetables. So we'll just wait till some of this evaporates off and we'll check on it in a few. Okay, so now the peppers and the onions are starting to caramelize. You can hear it sizzling. You can kind of see that. We want that to caramelize. There's a little bit here. Can't wait to try this. Okay, now it is time for the cabbage. I'm going to get another spoon so that I can mix this all in. We're going to do is add some black pepper. And let's add a little bit of onion powder. And some roasted garlic powder. If you have regular garlic powder, that'll work as well. I'm going to mix this up some more. So I'm going to reduce my heat to low, and then I'm going to cover this again and let it kind of steam a little. Okay, let's check on this. I'm occasionally stirring it. I'm going to steam it just a hair longer by just covering it up, and it's on low, but we are getting really, really close to this being done. Okay, so let's see how we're doing. I'm going to stir it up. Okay, cabbage seems like it's softened up quite a bit. It's shrunk up quite a bit. Now it's time to add it to the pasta. I'm going to add this to the pasta. Let's see. Okay. I turn the heat off. Let's try to get this out of here. I'm going to keep on transferring it over, and then we'll check back in just a sec. Okay, so I got all the meat mixture mixed in with the pasta, and how I did that is I did a little bit at a time, mixed it, a little bit of a time, mixed it, and I have some mild cheddar cheese, so I'm going to add a little bit of mild cheddar cheese, one of my handfuls. I have small hands. If you have large hands, maybe you wouldn't need as much as I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start mixing this up. And this is nice and warm still. I can always put this back on the burner if I need to. Everything tastes better with cheese. That's my motto. Okay. And I'm going to grab some more cheese. Mix this up. This is going to be good, I can tell. Okay. One more handful, and I think we'll be good on the cheese. So you're going to want to do kind of cheese to taste. But you'll see how it looks, and then you'll get the idea of what I'm going for here. Okay, so I'm going to keep on stirring this up, and then I will meet you at the counter for the taste test. Okay, before I do the taste test, I want you to have an idea of how much this is. Okay, so this is a pretty big pot. So that is a nice size. That is a nice size. I mean, easily 4 people could be fed, maybe more. I think we'll have leftovers for sure. So I'm going to scoop some out, and then I'll do the taste test. All right, time for the taste test. The house smells great, and I'm looking forward to trying this. Very, very good. Came out absolutely delicious. The melted cheese with the sausage and the peppers and the garlic. Wonderful flavor combination. Now, I made this recipe in my head while I was at the store buying stuff. I saw what was available, and I started thinking, and I'm like, I got to try something new. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you don't, I hope you do. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching.